Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the Pigskin Report, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day. I'm John Williams, alongside Morgan Smith from Texarkana Game Day. How you doing, Morgan?
I'm doing great.
Ready for some cold weather football tonight?
I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I cannot believe it's already week 10.
It's unbelievable. We're to November the 1st. We're getting into playoff almost time, and it really is. Every game is important as to whether, A, you're going to make the playoffs, and B, what your seeding, which is very important, is going to be. And in Arkansas's case, whether you get to play at home or not.
Yeah.
So these are all important games. Before we talk about tonight's game on the second portion of the program, let's talk a little bit about what happened last week. Texas High, by the way, had the week off last week. That was their bye week that's put in there. And so the week before, they'd beaten Sherman by a couple of touchdowns. And so they got 2 weeks to prepare for their game with Wiley East tonight, and we'll talk about them on the second half of the program. Arkansas High, though, they lost another the Razorbacks are 3-2 in conference play, and the two games that they have lost have been by a total of 4 points.
They, you cannot tell me weather didn't play a factor in that game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Arkansas Highs, just right on the brink.
Yeah, they lost by 1 point to Lakeside, and then they lost by 3 points on the road to Hot Springs. And the two Hot Springs teams right now are at the top in first place, and then there's a three-way tie for second, and Arkansas High is one of those. But the weather had to have played a part in that. Now, that was on the road, so I was not at the game, but I was listening to some of it, and I think it was tough for the Braylon Bishop and him and his receiving corps with the rain coming down. You know, it's tough to pass the ball in rainy conditions, and I think that's what kind of got the offense derailed. Now, they did rack up some yards. I mean, Torrey had another big night carrying the ball there for Torrey Blair for Arkansas High, but the passing was just not there, and it seemed like they did a lot of 20-20 stuff, but when they got down close, they couldn't punch it in, and they scored a late touchdown, and onside kick failed, but I'm telling you, this team is a very good team. They've got to be able to win those close games. It's going to be very important as they go down the stretch here to win those close games. But they're still in fine position as far as making the playoffs are concerned, and we'll talk about that coming up. The other game that was played last week you were at was the Liberty Ilo Leopards hosting the Pleasant Grove Hawks, and once again, it was raining.
Oh, man, was it ever. We tried everything we could to get the game day set up, and it was just too big of a liability for me with equipment. But I did stay, watch the game from the sideline. It was 6-2 for a long time, and weather, Pleasant Grove was down inside the 20, Liberty Ilo's 20, 4 straight drives, and either fumbled or lost ball on downs.
So it's wet football?
And, man, was it ever. I mean, a ball rolled over by me on the sideline. I reached down to try to – I have pretty big hands. Palm it and pick it up and toss it back. I couldn't – I took 2 hands just to pick it up. I mean, it was soaking wet out there.
Yeah, I was listening to a little bit of that game. I was flipping back and forth between Arkansas and Pleasant Grove and Liberty Ilo. And I think there was one play there early on where Pleasant Grove guy was going into the end zone maybe and fumbled it out of the end zone.
Yeah. Man, it was just – and then – into the first, I believe it was 6-2. Right. Liberty Ilo was up. I was like, man,
what's going on?
It was just a weird first quarter. I think Pleasant Grove had a couple late scores, went in 24-6 up, but it felt a lot closer than that.
Early on, it did. Yeah. Early on, it was like, oh, well, this could be with the weather and everything. This is going to be something. But then Pleasant Grove kind of put it together there. Once again, Bruce Garrett, but then Logan Johnson, I believe is his name.
Yeah, get used to saying that name.
Yeah, he was racking up the yards.
Yeah.
And kind of complimenting Garrett.
Yeah. Logan Johnson's a top-tier running back. I mean, he's great. He just happens to be in an offense where there are 2 or 3 other guys that can go. But you watch, mark my words, he'll be utilized a lot more going into the playoffs. And I bet you tonight, I don't know this for a fact, but I know Bruce was banged up a little bit. I would not be surprised if we don't see Bruce tonight because I don't think they need him.
Okay.
And there's nothing for Bruce to gain in this game.
Right.
But I think we'll probably see a really heavy dose of Logan Johnson.
All right. I was hearing his name a lot. And, of course, Ben Harmon, through the rain, had another good night. But the Leopards ended up rolling 45-6 after that 6-2 start.
You mean the Hawks ended up rolling?
The Hawks, excuse me. The Hawks rolled
Yeah, they did. And they end up losing a top offensive lineman, Connor Stanfield, for the season. And if you go back and look at that game, if they could have not turned that ball over early, they would have been up 28-0 within like 5 minutes, or 25-6 anyway. And he probably wouldn't even have been in the game at that time, So you kind of hate it for him. He's such a good kid. Just won a big award from Dave Campbell's magazine.
That's right.
There's a really bad injury in that game. The Liberty
on a leopard.
Yeah, BK Smith. He's going to be okay, but hip was out of place. And I think his knee as well.
Well, there was a kid
the
night before in the 8th grade game, that had their hip.
Yeah, and it was like the exact same injury.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's what went on last week. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about tonight's big action right here on the Pigskin Report, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day on The Pig, mypigradio.com. Welcome back to the Pigskin Report, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day. I'm John Williams, alongside Morgan Smith from Texarkana Game Day. And tonight, we'll start out with Texas High. The Tigers, who had a week off to prepare, are heading to Wiley East. The Tigers coming off that big victory a couple of weeks ago over Sherman, and they got their quarterback back, Ryan Sellers, and he had a big night. And, of course, their running back, who always has a big night, did. But the Tigers rested up, plenty of time to prepare for this game.
Yeah, and that bye week couldn't have came at a better time for Coach Stanford and his team. Obviously, Ryan Sellers makes a huge difference in that offense, and I kind of find it hard to believe they wouldn't have won at least one of those district games if he wouldn't have been there. But we had, I kind of looked at this district as a win and get in, but something crazy happened. The team that I think McKinney North, who has a running back going to Oklahoma, they sat him the week of the Sherman game and actually got beat by a team that had no business beating them. I guess that's how big of a difference that running back makes. So Texas High can win this game tonight. I would have them as a small favorite, but it looks like they may end up having to win out to get into playoffs. Yeah. But with Ryan Sellers back there, I love seeing Kobe Webster and Clayton Smith playing wide receiver together.
Absolutely.
That was genius, holding that to district. And normally he would just go in there, and Clayton Smith would show up and run one play a series, maybe. Now he's in there every play, and it's an obvious difference in that offense. Gives them a lot of weapons. Yeah,
and when you got Cooper back there running, it's good. Man. And if the offense controls the ball some, the defense has a good night, because the Tiger defense is good. The only reason that they gave up so many points in a few of those games was that the offense really wasn't contributing enough to keep them off the field.
Yeah, they were on the field a lot.
Yeah, and you get tired. So I look for the Tigers to win tonight. I just feel like they will.
I'm picking them and really hope they do.
Liberty Island Leopards at Pittsburgh Pirates. Both of these teams are in similar positions coming into this game, Morgan. They both have 0-2 records in district play, so it's very important to whoever can win this game tonight. Obviously, nobody wants to go through the entire district play without winning to begin with, and you still got the playoff hopes or whatever, so it's key.
Well, this is a win and get in game. Yeah. Whoever wins this game is going to be in the playoffs. Liberty Ilo, I think they might have a trick up their sleeve tonight on offense. May look at them doing something a little bit different. They're going to pull out all the stops tonight. Liberty Ilo is not a bad football team. No. They have literally just played the toughest schedule in the state of Texas. And the one game that we know they should have won against Spring Hill, they had no starters really.
Right, that was the game that they had to sit out.
Yeah, so it's a win and get in game, and I've been saying it all year. They're going to make the playoffs. So I'm picking Liberty Ilo tonight, and I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now because I want you to hear it.
Okay.
If Liberty Ilo wins tonight, they're going to play an undefeated Sunnydale team, first round of the playoffs, and they're going to beat them.
Oh wow, that's a bold prediction.
A 1-9 football team. I don't think Ellie's going to beat Gilmer.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, but they're going to play this undefeated team who's played nobody, and they're going to get beat by Liberty Ilo.
All right,
and you're going to call me crazy, but I'm telling you, it's two different times. It's two different types of football they're playing.
Yeah,
and Liberty Ilo's style of football is going to be much better than the style Sunnydale has been playing.
Right. I go with you tonight for sure on Liberty Ilo beating Pittsburgh. I think they will pull that off.
Man, I sure hope so. I'd love it, Coach King.
Yep, that would be great. The Battle of the Bridge is Arkansas High hosting Hope. That's a neat Red River Bridge trophy that they get. Arkansas High won it last year. Just honestly, I don't see how Arkansas High loses this game tonight, okay? They've got to win. They're trying to either get first or second in the playoff positioning, so maybe they can get a home game. They are not going to lose at home to the Hope Bobcats. Sorry to any Hope Bobcats fans that are listening out there, but Arkansas High just got too much talent, and they're not going to lose this game tonight. Coach Norton will not let it happen.
I don't know a whole lot about the Hope team, but I do know, like you said, Coach Norton's, I'm going to have to say, one of the best coaches in the state of Arkansas, not the state of Texas as well. I just can't imagine. He's going to have a game plan that's going to keep his team always in position. We've found that with some teams that he's playing that are better than him, are better than his team. That's just a fact sometimes, and he always finds a way to be in the game.
Right. Tonight he's got the better person. I mean, honestly, he's got the better personality, the better athletes. Arkansas just right at this point in time is a better team than Hope, and not going to have the rain problems that they had last week with the. I look for the passing game to kind of come back tonight, and I look for Arkansas High to really roll. And like I said, that is a jumbled conference over there in 5A South. Two Hot Springs teams are in first place right now by one game, and then you got Arkansas High, Camden Fairview, and Magnolia all tied for second. And there's 2 weeks to go. You can't even tell right now who's going to be first seed, second seed, third seed, on down the line. And that is important in Arkansas, because if you are 1 or 2, you get a home game. If you're 1, you get a bunch of home games. But if you're 1 or 2, you get a home game. If you're 3 and 4, you got to go on the road. So it's key, and you can throw it all up in a hat and figure out what's going to happen. It'll be at the end of the game next week when we find out what the playoff seedings are. Meanwhile, Pleasant Grove, senior night, Hawk Stadium, your old team, Spring Hill, coming to town.
Yeah.
Spring Hill's got a good quarterback.
Spring Hill has a great quarterback. I think probably the best quarterback in school history. It's not going to match up with Pleasant Grove tonight. I mean, this group of seniors is going to leave Pleasant Grove as the most winningest group to ever come through there. I think as varsity players, they've lost 4 football games. And they have a state championship and a state championship appearance in there.
They're 16-0.
Yeah.
And then runner-up last year to that one individual.
Yeah, in Whittington.
Yeah. And, that group, that senior group, is a very special group. I had the privilege of watching them in the 7th and 8th grades because my son played on the team at that time. He ended up getting a knee injury and decided just to do baseball, but he was on that team. Those teams, he was on the 16-0 team, but I've seen them since 7th grade. You could tell then they were special. Yeah. I mean, they lost 1 game in 7th grade, and that was a close one that they should have won probably, and they didn't lose at all in 8th grade. And then Harmon moved up in 9th grade to start doing the high school. So just a special group.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been around the football program a ton, really, before this year. And you don't have to be a professional analysis guy to know that
scientist to figure this out.
Yeah, that these guys are special.
Yeah.
It's going to be an emotional night, I'm sure, for the players, coaches. Because this was Coach Gibson's first group to come all the way up through 7th grade. All the way from 7th all the way up. Yeah. So I guess time has flown by, and I'm sure he's going to hate to see him go, but hopefully they still have 7 more games left in them.
This is the last home game probably. So it could be freakish and get a home game in the playoffs, but usually you don't.
No, nobody's going to come.
They talked about it 1 year doing it, and it didn't work out. But this is probably the last home game for them. 99% sure. So that'll be emotional, but they still got a lot of work to do. They're looking to go all the way to the state championship.
Oh yeah.
So even though I think that quarterback for Spring Hill will have some success, I think you're right. In the end, Pleasant Grove is just too tough.
I can see that quarterback. I talked with Coach Levere from Spring Hill. That quarterback, they have a 6'4" receiver. It's a D1 guy. I mean, they're going to put points on the board, and that's no knock on Pleasant Grove. Spring Hill puts points on the board on everybody. It's just they're not going to win unless Pleasant Grove fumbles a lot.
Yeah,
I think they probably score every single time they have the football.
Yeah, it's going to be dry. I don't see them fumbling a lot.
No, they're a really disciplined football team. I graduated from Spring Hill. I had some success there. Their quarterback is a guy that knocked us out of the playoffs my sophomore, junior, and senior year. Their head coach, Johnny Levere, he's a good guy. Good football coach, obviously. But everything revolves around the quarterback. I mean, if he were to get hurt, it's over with, you know. But I like what he's done with that program and wish him the best of luck, just not tonight.
Yeah. I think Pleasant Grove will end up rolling. It could be close for a while. I don't know, but they should roll. And it's senior night at Hawk Stadium. Texarkana Game Day will be there, you say?
Yeah, we're going to be in the house.
All right. And one quick story. I just want to throw this in here about Coach Gibson with Pleasant Grove. When he first came here with that first group of 7th grader, they had a summer camp right before football two-a-days started. And that was my son and Ben Harmon and all them first time, whatever. And so I went out there and sat in the stands and watched because this was a brand new coach. I wanted to see what was going on. He had those guys around when they finished practicing or whatever, and had them around the huddle and they were going, state. Our goal is to win state. And this is coming off a Pleasant Grove team that had won maybe 2 games one year and 3 games the next year. They won 5 games in like 2 seasons. And I was going, I admire that guy's enthusiasm, but is he crazy?
Yeah.
and he proved it in just a couple of years. I mean, he did it amazing. He had what he said he did.
I'll tell you what I think has changed in high school football from when I was playing. Before they realigned districts, I played at Longview High School, and you go all the way to like middle school. I never remember ever seeing the head football coach ever.
Right.
I mean, probably even as a freshman, I never remember seeing him unless I just happened to be at a Friday night game. But they don't miss. None of these schools, their coaches are out at these middle school games.
Right.
And I don't know what has changed on that. I may do it everywhere, but I know when I was playing, I never saw John King.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, back in the it was like I'm not
even though he was just he was just some guy that I knew existed.
Yeah,
you know,
it's changed.
But best of luck to all the teams tonight. There's a couple big games going on. Paul Pewitt and Dangerfield's coming to town. Paul Pewitt's looking to protect that undefeated record. They had a player win offensive MVP last week, and then Hooks is playing Jefferson.
Okay,
and that's a really big game for Hooks. You know, Paul Pewitt and Hooks looking to make deep playoff runs this year, and they have the talent to do it. And they're a little bit outside of Texarkana, but want to give them a shout out.
Oh yeah, good teams, and we'll definitely want to talk about them. Well, good luck tonight, Morgan, on your broadcast.
You too.
And I'll be over there at Arkansas High for the PA. So we wish all the area high school football teams the best of luck tonight, and be sure and get out and support your favorite high school football team. And join us again next Friday for another edition of the Pigskin Report, brought to you by Investment Housing and Texarkana Game Day on the Pig, 103.9, 98.5, mypigradio.com.
We are live from Pleasant Grove Hawk Stadium Senior Night. Jay, tell us about some of these seniors we're going to be seeing tonight play.
Well, you're going to have the leader of the team, Ben Harmon. It's definitely going to be sad seeing him play his last home game. It's going to be an emotional night for the team. That's one thing. You go homecoming, senior night. Those are some things that can sort of slow a team up. But I expect Ben Harmon to have them ready to go. And so, I think Coach may get a little choked up too. This senior class is, going to be pretty hard one for him to leave.
Yeah, what do they have there? They've lost 4 career games. They've won a bunch of them.
I did the math earlier today, and they have a 90% winning percentage.
Wow.
Whoa.
2 state championship appearances, 1 win. I mean, they've done it all. How many seniors do we have?
I want to say 21.
I was going to count them up here. But look, 21 looks about right. quick math, we'll go with 21. But, man, this team, it's just amazing. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Brandy went out and filmed Coach Gibson earlier this week talking about his seniors, and that'll come out. We put a little clip of it out this week, but the full video will come out next week along with some highlights of tonight. Man, these kids mean a lot to him.
Well, today at the pep rally, they showed a video of the seniors this year, and I believe it was Ben just talking about how a lot of them have played since like 3rd grade together, and some of their PGYA pictures, posted up there as 7, 8, 9-year-olds, and it was pretty neat to see them, go through their entire football career to this point together. So,
I actually saw Jackson Cobb leaving out of the gym, and he seemed to be pretty emotional about that video that he watched.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good video. But playing Spring Hill tonight, Spring Hill has a really good offense. They're throwing the ball around a lot. Quarterback is probably will be an all-district second or third team, I would say, easily.
I think he's leading the district in total yards right now, or passing yards.
He's one of the
about
leadings in all of East
Yeah.
Texas. So.
Yeah. Wide receiver that's supposedly really, really good.
And he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
That wide receiver.
Jay Rockwell, you're going to hear his name a lot, I think, in the next few years in this district.
And head coach Johnny Levere, who I have some riff with.
Yes,
He,
just a little bit.
I graduated from Spring Hill, and he went to Gladewater, knocked us out of the playoffs one year. He was a quarterback, great quarterback.
We would have
but-
won it that year, just so you know.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
we were
we
really,
would
really
have.
good. We were
Really,
really,
really
really good.
Really
But
good.
a missed extra point.
Yeah.
Only one our guy missed all year. But anyway,
There
enough of
are
that.
always those excuses.
We're not bitter
no,
about
it wasn't an
it or
excuse. I'm
anything.
telling you. Let's talk about some of these districts. What all's going on in this district tonight?
Well, Gomer's off this week, but the other team playing besides PG and Spring Hill is Ellie and Pittsburgh. So.
All right, so this is a win and get in game for Pittsburgh and Liberty Ilo. Liberty Ilo, of course, winless on the season. I believe Pittsburgh has won 3 games.
Yes,
if I'm not
3 and 5.
Liberty Ilo really does have a chance to win this game. They're not a bad football team. They've had the toughest schedule in the state of Texas. I'm going to put it up against anybody. They played number 1, 2, and 3 ranked team in Division 1, and then they played Pleasant Grove, Division 2, Gilmer. They'll play Gilmer before the season's over with. I feel like I'm missing 2 other ranked teams. Waco, La Vega, which they were a top 3 team. Anyway, long story short, they played a really, really tough schedule that there are too many teams that are going to win those games.
Well, and their defense has been tested all year long.
Yeah.
And I think if they can stop Pittsburgh's running game tonight, they've got a great chance.
Yeah, I've been saying all year, I really do think Liberty Ilo is going to make the playoffs. I had them beating Spring Hill, but they didn't have all their players for that game. But I think tonight, like if they can get their running game going, I know they're going to have a little bit of something extra up their sleeve for this game. So if they can get all that working together, beat Pittsburgh, they're going to play. I'm just calling it right now. They're going to play an undefeated Sunnydale team who's played nobody. Just want to throw that out there, and I'm giving LE literally like a 50-50 chance at upsetting Sunnydale.
At some point, when you've got that schedule, it has to pay dividends. That's what
Yeah.
you've got to go in and preach to your kids week after week. Just keep plugging, keep going as a coaching staff. That has to be what you're telling your kids, right? What else?
Yeah, I mean,
And if you are Ellie, last week the quarterback for Pittsburgh left the game a little bit early because of an injury. I'm not sure if that's going to hinder him from playing this evening or limit the amount of minutes that he has, but he got a little banged up. So we'll see if that is something that Ellie can take advantage of, or if Pittsburgh, if he has been on the mend, he's ready to go for this Friday. Because Kamarian McCain, he is a dual threat, and he's a salty little player.
let's do this real quick. Let's go up to Rebecca, and let's come back. Let's finish that conversation. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Texarkana, I'm here with Jocelyn, and she is a member of the PG band, and it is her senior year. Jocelyn, can you tell everyone watching what instruments you play?
Okay, so for concert band, I play clarinet, and for jazz band, I play alto saxophone. And during marching season, I am a part of the color guard.
That is awesome. Okay, Jocelyn, tell us what it means to be a senior and part of the PG band.
So for me, being a senior in the Pride in Motion band, it's like being a leader to all the underclassmen and showcasing like all the hard work we put in throughout the years.
And I heard that y'all put in some hard work this year. Tell us about how competition season went.
Yes, at 3 of our competitions, we placed in the top 3. And we got outstanding drum majors and outstanding percussion.
That is awesome. Okay, back to you, Morgan. Thank you so much.
So, Pittsburgh, you think their quarterback's playing tonight or not? If you had to guess. Because I'm assuming they're going to pull out all the stops.
I'll do this. If Pittsburgh's quarterback plays, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Fair enough.
I think that he's a pretty dynamic playmaker for Pittsburgh. They also have a pretty salty running back as well in Braden Bolton, who has over 800 yards rushing right now. So I feel like on offense, they've got 2 playmakers right there that has carried their team to 3 wins this year. We know how many people that they lost last year.
Here's what I think about Liberty Ilo. They have a good defense. It's just that they've been left on the field so much because the offense hadn't been producing, and then they have a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. But if they can get some offense going tonight, the defense can definitely stop Pittsburgh.
I would definitely think we're going to see tonight, we're going to see the best athletes with the football in their hand. I think he's going to move some players, maybe a player to quarterback who they want to get the ball to and they're struggling to. We may see somebody who we haven't seen at quarterback tonight, and there's still there are 2 really good running backs, all of them in the backfield, and just see what happens. Yeah.
And
he's going to pull out all the stops.
And I'll tell you something. I heard you mentioning the playoffs a little bit ago and about how this game matchup could very well be for the 4th place team. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, and I think you referenced it. I walked up a little bit late, but that 4th place team could easily win. Oh yeah, a couple of playoff games.
Our 4th place team, the team they're going to play they're probably going to beat that team.
Well, similar to last year.
Last
year, Gilmer was 4th place in our district, and Pleasant Grove, we won the district, and we ended up playing each other again in the 3rd round, and then played Pittsburgh in the 4th regional final.
It's weird outside this; they're not playing the schedules. Like, let's say a Pleasant Grove, a Gilmer, or Liberty Ilo. Nobody's playing that kind of schedule.
So realistically, this team the winner of tonight's game between Liberty Ilo and Pittsburgh could definitely look at winning 2 or 3 playoff games, which is amazing and just shows the depth of this district.
Yeah.
So if Ellie makes some changes on the offense to put their playmakers with the ball in their hands, I mean, they could get a lightning rod and, I mean, just off to the races this evening and just start a roll for them for the rest of the season.
You know, it was wet in that game last week, but we saw a first quarter where a lot of it was, Pleasant Grove was turning the ball over on downs, fumbling the ball, but they didn't look like there was just like Pleasant Grove was all world against them. That they looked like Liberty Ilo had some athletes. It's just as the game went on, it wore down. But I really am kind of. I had them beating Spring Hill before all this other stuff happened. But I'm excited to see them play tonight. And I hope they come away with a W. That'd be good for everybody.
A good game.
Plus, I don't like Pittsburgh.
At least it's not raining.
All right, on that one, let's go to Rebecca. We'll be right back. All right, we'll stay here then. Who else? Anybody else in the district playing?
Nope, Gilmer's off this week, and that's it.
Let's talk this PG Spring Hill game.
Okay.
So Spring Hill's going to throw the ball around a lot. I think they're going to have a very difficult time running because everybody has a difficult time running on Pleasant Grove. I think we can all agree on that. Well, what is it going to take for Spring Hill to beat Pleasant Grove tonight, Todd?
Well, I think, again, you're going to have catch some breaks. This game of breaks, it's football. Football's got to happen. I believe it's going to, like you said, it's going to be very difficult to run against Pleasant Grove's defense. Again, they're going to have to hope to hit some big passes maybe and get a couple of breaks in the game and hopefully a few turnovers offensively and just have a chance. So
I was talking to Coach Johnny Levere just a little while ago, and actually he has a guy on his coaching staff that I know. I didn't even know he was on his staff. And he's like, dude, our quarterback, I'm telling you, one of the best quarterbacks probably we've ever had at Spring Hill. He can get the ball. He can make all the passes.
Yeah.
It's just
his numbers prove that.
This is a very talented Spring Hill team.
Yeah. Y'all have seen him play this year, right?
Yes, we
have.
have.
Tell us about him.
Well, we saw him play against Gilmer, and they, at times during the game, you would think, okay, Gilmer's about to blow this wide open. Yeah. And yet Spring Hill never backed down. They continue to fight, and that is really the senior leadership of Gage White and the playmakers that they have on the outside.
It's going to be, if their quarterback, Gage White, can connect with Jay Rockwell, I would be interested to see how many points Spring Hill can put on the board. Because they're number one, their wideout, he is athletic, he is tall, he has reach, he can make plays happen.
And right now, in their victories, they're scoring over 40 points, and in their losses, they're only losing by an average of 9 points. So they are right there in their losses.
Spring Hill is going to have to try to exploit Pleasant Grove's secondary, and in doing that, that's where Landon Jackson and Mark Burris is going to have an impact on the game because he won't be able to stand back there.
Anytime I hear somebody's going to throw the ball against Pleasant Grove, I keep saying they better get it out quick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They better get out quick because you got people coming from everywhere.
And again, also you're looking at the height factor. If you've got Landon Jackson who's 6'6" and Marcus Burris, and they're standing there with the arms up, that's asking a lot of any quarterback.
Right.
For that
nice thing that Gage White does has, he's a 4-year starter. With that kind of experience, you've seen all kinds of defensive alignments, coverages. He's going to be prepared to play tonight.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, he's got a great coach who played it, teaching him. But let's go to Rebecca real quick. We'll be right back. I cannot believe.
Hey, Texarkana, I'm here with Mary and Antonio, and they're here supporting their daughter, who's a senior and part of the PG band. Now, Mary, can you tell me what it means that your daughter is about to graduate?
I mean, it's real exciting. I mean, she's about to graduate. She loves the whole school, and I It's just real sad. It's real emotional right now, but she's happy, and I know they're going to do great, and hopefully back-to-back state champions. I hope that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that y'all are big supporters of her. If you could tell her anything right now, what would it be?
Follow your dreams and never look back. Never accept no for an answer from anybody.
Awesome. Yes, these are some big supporters. Okay, back to you, Morgan.
So we're back. Pleasant Grove on senior night. You've watched these kids kind of grow up. You know them better than probably, obviously, all of us here. What do you expect to kind of see from this team tonight on a night like this?
It's a special night. It really is. It's been a special season, but today, especially around the school today, just this morning, and then our pep rally this afternoon, and then the senior. I've been around senior nights now for a while, and it's just it's special. This game means a lot to these kids. Their families are here. A lot of their friends come back. But it's just special because it's that, and they're bond with their coaches. And it's special not only to our football players, it's special to our band kids. It's special to our showstoppers. It's special to our cheerleaders. It's just a special night where we celebrate just 4 years of effort and work and success. And it's a chance just to recognize not only the student athletes and band and cheering our showstoppers, but also their families as well. It's special.
It's going to be sad to see this group go.
Yeah, this has been a special group of seniors. I mean, this is a group of seniors that were sophomores when we won a state championship 2 years ago and played for one last year as juniors. So, yes, this is a group of seniors that really were part of that when that tide finally turned here. And they have a legacy here that's very special. Yeah. And I know they want to finish not only senior night tonight in district, but also moving into the playoffs successfully and with a win.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. Playoff.
And I just got to say, as the high school principal, it's a great group of students. That's what I'm so proud of, is because the same kids you see out here and up there and everywhere, all of these students are leaders in our school. And that's what. There's so much pride there that I take here to see those kids, that they not only are leaders out here for our community, but they're leaders in that school building from 8 to 3 every day, or 8 to 4 every day.
Just to speak on senior night for a minute, I know for me that on senior night it made me realize that my career in high school football and my senior year was coming basically to an end. You start to realize that this is my senior year. These are my last few games with my brothers. Probably more so my teachers were happy that I was about to get out of there. But as far as playing with your brothers and stuff like that, you start to realize that it's almost the end of your high school career.
I know. I hope they just soak it in. I know that they'll enjoy it.
Yes.
And that they're still on mission, but
That's
soak
right.
it in, enjoy this
Enjoy
moment.
it, because you can get so mission-driven.
All this group, from what I've seen this year, coming to the few games that we've been to see them, they're such a credit to Pleasant Grove.
Yes.
And I think that speaks so highly to this community, the group of people that y'all are letting go out in the world, you know?
Right. And you see it too even after the games, just the way the community on the field, and there's just something special about, and those are the things you really hold on to, and that's, to me, is just as enjoyable.
I can go back to one moment this season where I knew these were high character kids, but it just proved it. And that was that game against Carthage.
After the Carthage game.
I remember telling them, "Hey, this will probably be quick. I don't think we'll have anybody come over and talk to us." And it was just, the respect kind of shown there. I wasn't expecting from a kid. I just left there with a lot. I respected them a lot, but I respected them more as men after that, because that's something, as a high school principal, you have to stand up and do something no matter what.
Yes.
And they felt that obligation when they really didn't need to.
Right.
But high quality, high character kids, I agree.
That's one thing I took from their senior video today was all the kids were mentioning their bond with their coaches and stuff like that. And if you're over here visiting and stuff, you can see how these coaches definitely care for their kids.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be
like that.
Well, that's why they're here. It's the relationships that keep the coaches.
That's why coaches come back.
Year after year.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. We will come back and talk area games.
Hey, Texarkana, I'm here with Lindley and Emmeline. Lindley, what are you involved in at PG?
I do tennis, and I'm in Math UIL at the middle school.
So she's got some brains. All right, now, Emmeline, if you could be anything when you get into high school at PG, what would you be?
A showstopper.
So you would say you're here supporting them tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you ready for halftime?
Yeah.
All right, who's going to win the game?
PG.
PG. Okay, back to you, Morgan.
Find yourself in need of emergency care, come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're locally owned with board-certified physicians for all your emergencies. We accept all private insurance. At Texarkana Emergency Center, we have on-site lab, pharmacy, x-ray, ultrasound, and CT. Come see us at Texarkana Emergency Center. Real ER without the wait. The next generation of emergency care.
We are back live from Pleasant Grove Stadium, senior night. It's going to be sad to see these guys go, but before we get back on them, let's talk about some area games going on. I'd like to start with the Texas High Wiley East game. Craig, I know they're building your statue. It's in construction right now.
It's probably about 6 years out. It's going to be a really
6 years?
statue.
Okay. Well, I didn't think a statue that short would take that long. But anyway, Texas High is going to be at Wiley East. Our insider, Billy Lavender, says this is a game Texas High should definitely win. What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking so. They got Ryan Sellers back. They look pretty good last
Man, against
week.
Sherman. It makes me wonder if he would have been there at the start of district, would they be in this position? Because they're basically, and they have to win out, basically.
Yeah, I think they took maybe, how many games did they lose? One?
I think they lost 2.
Maybe 2 games,
Yeah.
but you moved up a sophomore quarterback who had never played varsity, so that
Yeah.
kind of hurt them in the end. But Ryan Sellers is back. I think they do what they normally do, get Tracy Cooper going.
Well,
and run
coming off that bye week, and Coach Stanford told me, he said, we've never needed a bye week in my career like we needed a bye week here. Like we needed this bye week. But I loved seeing Tracy Cooper in the backfield, Ryan Sellers dual threat, Kobe Webster out wide running his slant routes and just bulldozing people. And then on top of that, putting Clayton Smith out.
They've got
Which Clayton Smith is like, he's one of the top outside linebackers in the state of Texas right now. And they put him, he played wide receiver before converting to outside linebacker, and he's like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5".
I mean, he's tall. And I mean, he looks like a professional wide receiver. I mean, he's gonna grow into a defensive body, but I mean, putting them on the field at the same time, it's nasty.
They definitely have all the pieces.
Yeah.
It's just last week or the week before when they played, they got out to a fast start, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a lull. But at the end of the game, they stepped up on defense when they needed to make those plays. Got the interception return for a touchdown to seal that.
My favorite play in football.
I don't think they need to come out to a slow start. They'll get Tracy going early.
Yeah, I think it all starts with Tracy, but, you know, what I kind of noticed a little bit about that offense is they let plays develop. They'll roll Sellers out in hopes that, you know, that they're just on an all-out blitz or something. And even if they're not, they're going to have Kobe coming across the field, who's always going to be open. I mean, I don't know if I ever saw a play he wasn't open. Yeah. It's crazy how open he gets.
And the thing about Ryan Sellers, he is blazing fast.
Yeah.
If he turns that corner, he can go 20 yards, 40 yards.
They're in a really difficult district. They have the #1 running back in the nation in that district, and legitimately, probably. I mean, he reminded me of like Cedric Benson.
Really? Where's he out of?
Somewhere in Dallas.
Poteet, McGowan.
One of them. I mean, he's really, really good. He was so good actually. He didn't play the first few games of the season because his dad was just going to hold him out, so he didn't get injured. He's valedictorian of his class right now.
So he's smart and athletic.
I mean, it's I can't think of a more rounded person / athlete, you know. But I don't know that's a game they win if Sellers was there anyway, because they couldn't. They just said they couldn't do anything with him. But I definitely think they have to win tonight. They don't have to, but to for sure get in, they're going to have to win tonight, and then the game next week they should definitely win
against Mesquite.
Yeah,
West Mesquite.
Yeah,
Wranglers.
So I'm rooting for them. I don't think they're doing anything different. He said, hey, well, what we got has been working for us. We've just had, we've been without a quarterback. Now we have it.
Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. Not having him, I think that's what.
Yeah, and and that's no knock on the sophomore quarterback that came up. The kid can throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's just, experience at that level of football matters.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. He'll be the starter junior and senior year, I'm sure, and he'll be good.
Hard to step in the middle of the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely hard to step in. That's a very good point. Henderson Carthage. I can't imagine Carthage losing to Henderson, but is Henderson ever bad?
They're going to be competitive.
Yeah,
sure.
it's going to be a really competitive game. And Jay, you would.
Well, and this could set up to be one of those trap games. I mean, if Carthage is looking past, if they're making the decision to maybe set a player or two to get them ready for the playoffs, they could step up and get a win out of it.
It's just so hard to think about that when you know their coaching staff and you know they're going. I mean, they've been in this position so many years in a row. Like they're going to have them prepared. But you're right. I mean, kids are kids.
16, 17-year-old boys, it can get it on them quick.
Do you think Argyle is the number 1 ranked team in the state in Division I?
I've seen a couple of videos of them on Huddle, and I mean they're pretty impressive. Pleasant Grove in especially baseball, we've gone and played them a lot for the past 7 or 8 years, and they've got so many athletes, it's incredible, and they're deep. So I mean even if one goes down, they've got someone to step in.
I think Carthage is just stout.
True,
a really good football team. I know Henderson's not going to beat them tonight, but we got to talk about it. Let's go to a game I kind of am curious on right here. We went to that Hooks game. Hooks is playing Jefferson tonight. It's a big football game, not only in that district, but to get this team ready for the playoffs. And what do you think on that, Craig? I mean,
2 really good football teams.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I was looking at this one. Of all games, there's 2 of them I'm having trouble picking. This Hooks at Jefferson. Or maybe, Hooks is at Jefferson. Of course, I want Hooks to win.
I was going to say, y'all seen them.
Yeah,
yes.
And they have, for that level, we were talking about this in the game. They have a running back and you always do this. You'll take a guy that's just killing it at the 1A level, and like, I wonder what they would do at Longview High School. Would they play at Longview High School? And we were talking about that with DeVarius Clark, and we were like, if they plugged him in at Texas High, would he play? And we all left there like, yeah, they'd find somewhere for this kid to be.
Well, then it's going to be a great test because Jefferson's running back is averaging about 10 yards per carry. So it's going to be a great game with
I think
how
Clark
each running
is
back's
somewhere
going to
in
do.
that same
range.
Clark,
I bet you he might be over 10 a carry after last week. But yeah, he's averaging right around there. He's for that level, he's just untouchable.
Well, Hooks is going to be able to coast into the playoffs. Jefferson pretty much has to win tonight, so they're going to come in with a little extra juice. So I mean, it's going to be a great matchup tonight. Jefferson Hooks.
Shout out to Hooks beating Mount Vernon. I asked the coach this week, said, "Man, how did it feel to beat Art Briles? What does that feel like?" He was like, "Man, it doesn't feel like anything." He said we came out there ready to win. Doesn't matter who was standing over there. I liked it, but real quick.
Mentality you want.
Yeah, let's go to Rebecca real quick. We'll be right back. Finish up this segment. Here in just a minute, Coach Levere is going to pop.
Hi. Hey, Texarkana. I'm here with Shaniqua and Tylisha, and they are both senior sports medicine trainers for PG. Now, Shaniqua, tell me about what you want to be when you graduate.
I plan to become a physical therapist at a university nearby, and yeah, that's it.
And how's working Friday nights helped you with that goal?
Just to experience whenever people are hurt on just what to do once they're hurt. Helping them get better.
Yeah, and Tylisha, tell me what you want to be when you graduate.
I want to major in kinesiology so I can get a job as an athletic trainer.
Okay, awesome. And what sport, being an athletic trainer, do you think you would enjoy the most?
Probably football, because I already have a really close relationship with some of the players, and it's just I already kind of know how to do that.
Yeah, and so what's some of the experience you've gained from working on Friday nights?
I've gained a lot of different experience, like how to handle blood and how to deal with hurt players because Miss Scott just teaches us a lot on a daily.
Yeah, that's awesome. And is there anything that you would like to say to the team before we let you go?
Just good luck, and let's end the season with the dub.
Let's end it with the state championship, right?
Yes.
Okay, back to you, Morgan. Thank you.
So a game I've really kind of looked at this week. Went out to Paul Pewitt earlier this week, and I didn't realize how far it was away. For some reason or other, I thought it was a town right past New Boston.
No,
and that is not where Paul Pewitt is, I found out.
Come drive a little ways.
Dangerfield is at Paul Pewitt. And I talked to the coach this week. He was like, man, it's a big-time trap game for us. And what you just told me makes it an even bigger one.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the parents this week, and he said that, Pewitt's going in with a few injuries. They won't be playing at 100% tonight. So, they're going to have some guys that aren't normally playing step up and fill in those holes.
Yeah. Well, just from what I've seen, they're putting up some big stats out of Paul Pewitt, running the ball, kind of what you would see at the 2-3A level.
This is their 12th season having a playoff berth, but they have not had a district championship in a decade. And they're 5-0 in district right now, so that a lot's on the line tonight. With
Coach is pulling out new helmet stickers. They're going to go with the bull on the helmet tonight. I'm assuming the kids know by now.
And these are two towns that are all of 10 minutes away from one another. So that's going to also heighten the emotion of the evening. They're going to want to bang
I will
up
say,
each other.
their running back at Dangerfield just won the Built Ford Tough for 3A this past week.
Oh, really?
Against their win over Wasco.
Week 7, Paul Pewitt had a player win the same award.
Really?
Yep.
All right, so this is
So
really
get some of that knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, I got to talk about my Lobos. Tyler Lee at Longview. Tyler Lee has no chance. I don't care who's on the field. Longview wins.
Big.
Anybody want to go against me? I'm ready to argue.
No.
Can we just talk about Coach King's stats going into this game?
Tell me.
Coach King. Okay, so Longview's got a 17-game win streak at home right now. But as for Coach King, he's a 45-1 in district home games at Longview at Lobo Stadium.
Well, I've been rolling a stat. He has not lost a district game since 2001.
It is incredible.
And
That's
for that
nuts.
very reason, that's why I'm going to take Tyler Lee.
When we're talking about Longview and Tyler Lee, this is going to be the 60th meeting between the two teams, and Longview right now leads it 43-14-2. So that's
It's fun. I don't ever remember Longview losing to Tyler Lee.
It's happened
All right.
14 times.
Let's do this. Let's go to Rebecca, and we will come back with Spring Hill head coach Johnny Levere.
Thanks, Morgan.
Hey, Texarkana, I'm here with Kaylee Strawn, and she is a senior cheerleader for PG. Kaylee, how long have you been cheering for the PG Hawks?
I've been on varsity since sophomore year, so 3 years now.
And this is your last night cheering at your home stadium. What does that mean to you?
I love cheering with my team, but it's really sad because I've loved cheering with them, and it's just been a great experience, but I'm actually really sad about it.
Do you have any major plans after high school?
Yes, actually. I want to be a dental hygienist, and I'm thinking about going to either Texas State University or the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. And is there anything you would like to say to your cheer squad?
I love y'all so much, and it's been a great 3 years, and I love y'all.
Awesome. Okay, back to you, Morgan.
We have Spring Hill Panthers head coach Johnny Levere. I've been talking bad about you all year. No, I'm just kidding. But, man, I'm glad you got Spring Hill back on the up and up. All year I'm like, man, I cannot believe Johnny Levere's down here coaching my Panthers. Backstory, if you don't know, I think I was a junior, you were a senior. We lost 21-20 to y'all in the playoffs, and ever since then I've hated you. But I've let it go tonight since I got a Spring Hill helmet out of it.
For the record, my parents can't believe I'm at Spring Hill either yet. So.
I heard that. Your mom wouldn't even come to the games, would she?
They do now. No, they
Bears. But, man, you've done a great job with this program. I graduated, 03. So I know they went through kind of some coaches through there. And I remember talking to some guys that I went to school with. When we heard your name, we knew, like, it was about to be a change, And I always said out here, like, I don't know anything about him as a coach, but I know he's one of the best football players I've ever played against. And that somehow always matters, and it obviously does. So, tell me about your football team.
Yeah, we're still learning because it's a new offense, new defense, but got a great group of seniors. There's not many of them, so that's one of the things we're really trying to fix. But we're going to play the cards we're dealt right now. So Gage White is a 4-year returner at quarterback. We've got 4 really good receivers and a young offensive line, but they're doing a good job. And then defensively, we're back healthy, and when we got all our guys out there, we're playing pretty good.
You've been in every single football game. I mean, I've kept up since you've got there. I've kept up with Spring Hill. I never did before. Nobody's just beating Spring Hill, And we got there for a while. It seemed like for probably a decade. I mean, there were some big time blowouts that we just never had. Mm-hmm. We were kind of growing up there, and you've like this like Gilmer. I sat there and looked on the app, and it was just like nobody was picking Spring Hill, and y'all were never out of that football game.
Yeah.
I mean, like. What was the first thing you did when you came to Spring Hill? What has changed?
Yeah, we didn't focus much on the X's and O's, or we're really trying to change the mentality, and that's when I was growing up, Spring Hill, even when I was 4th, 5th grade going to games, Spring Hill was always a really good program, and when I was in high school, it was the same way. So to me, Spring Hill is a good program. Yeah. Kids right now really didn't feel that way just because it's been 2007 since we made the playoffs. So really just changing that mentality to feel like you can win a game. And I think the Silsbee game was the one where it kind of clicked for our kids.
I was really happy for y'all.
We beat a team that was favored by a lot over us and in all reality probably a little bit better as far as talent goes, and we were able to beat them. So it's kind of changed the mentality, and they're kind of seeing that we can win.
Yeah. So tell me about this duo you have, this quarterback and wide receiver. That's really what I've been hearing the most about is how you're utilizing the athletes you have and just finding ways for them to get open.
Yeah, and that's, as a new staff, that's kind of a lot of the struggles we had early on offense was really more on our end as coaches because we're doing a lot of things different now than we were at the start of the year just because of the kids we have. And Jay Rockwell is just a tall, 6'3" matchup nightmare. But what really helps is we've got Zach Henry, Tyrese Jones, and Eric Morrow. So it's still hard for teams to double cover him because the other guys can still play too. He's that type receiver that he's just going to be taller than most of the corners and he can do some things that they really can't cover.
Yeah, I heard he's super athletic. Sophomore?
Wow.
Well, you talked about your receivers and, Pleasant Grove's got, their number one receiver. He's got 21 catches. You've got 3 players with more than 20 catches. Mm-hmm. And so Gage, I think he's right at 2,100 yards, 21 TDs.
Yeah.
Through the air, you are tough.
Yeah, and it's really, depending on what they decide to do on defense, we've got the guys that are going to step up and be able to make those catches every game. So, and the receivers, I will say, they're notorious for being selfish, and this group has done a good job of when it's like there has been a game where Jay was double teamed and he might have had 3 catches that game, but he was just as happy because Tyrese was able to have a big game. So it's been good to see from those guys.
Everybody wants to know about offense. Tell us a little bit about your defense. I was watching some videos on YouTube, and that linebacker, I think it's Vincent Rockwell, number 2, he really jumps off on the tape as a very impressive linebacker.
Yeah, he is an unbelievable football player, and he's one we've actually used him all over the place. He's played outside backer, he's played D-line, he's played he's an inside linebacker. Well. He could probably play receiver for us, too. He's just that type of kid. But Coach Jocelyn, he's our defensive coordinator, and he does a really good job of he's kind of changed his defense as well to fit our kids of what our strengths are because our strengths on defense is D-line and linebackers. Not that we're bad in the secondary, but that would be where he's got to cover up some things, and he's done a really good job of that.
Coach, like Morgan says, we've been keeping up with you all year. We think you've done a great job down there. And to be honest with you, if you weren't in the district you was in right now, your record would probably be a lot better than what it is. I mean, you've really been out there competing. I've been keeping up with your program for a long time. Both of my nephews go to Spring Hill. My older nephew actually was running back for y'all for about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been keeping up with y'all. You're doing an excellent job down there. Just keep it up.
Thank you.
So, we've had some coaches on earlier this year. I think I can get it out of you because everybody dodges this question. How do you – the reason I'm asking you this specifically, and I think you'll tell me, is because every time, from what I understand, you adjust to the team you're playing. So what we're seeing on offense tonight, from what I understand, you always adapt, kind of like an NFL, I guess, offensive coordinator would. What is a plan for a defense that has 2 defensive ends like Pleasant Grove has? Just get it out quick. I mean,
yeah, you've got it. I mean, just to be completely honest, if you want to try to run the ball against them, it's going to be a long night. So, you've got to throw the ball and you've got to get it out quick. They do a lot of man coverage in the secondary, and what their biggest advantage to stopping the pass is they get to you so quick. So Gage has to do a good job of reading the blitz and getting it out quick when the blitz is coming, and then when they don't blitz, take a shot deep, try to get a big one.
I like it. So this is going to be Spring Hill's first time in playoffs in 12 years?
Yes, that's correct.
Man, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Spring Hill.
That's great.
I hadn't been back to Spring Hill since I think 2004, and I was talking to him this week, and I was going to have him take a picture of my old locker, and they don't have them anymore.
Yeah,
you got to be kidding me.
I heard it's a lot of people that were excited in Spring Hill to see Morgan get out of town.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. But what do you have coming up? Like, tell me about. I know you don't want to go for next year's team, but what does the future look like?
Yeah, it's bright. We've got our lower levels are really good, and we have good 7th grade, good 8th grade, good 9th grade group. And our JV's not as good as we'd like it to be, but a lot of that is because we only have 10 seniors, so we have a lot of young kids that really should be on the JV if you have 20 or 21 seniors. So that's kind of our goal, is get the program where year in and year out we've got at least 18 seniors playing, and then that's just going to trickle down and help all the lower levels.
What's it going to take for Spring Hill to walk out here with a win tonight?
We're going to have to score more points than them.
Good answer.
All right. That's the quickest answer ever. All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you tonight, man. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the program. Happy for everybody involved at Spring Hill that they were able to get you, and Gladewater wasn't.
Yeah.
So, all right, bro. Let's take a quick commercial break. We will come back with head coach Josh Gibson.
All right.
Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, handcrafted stone is our passion, and we ensure our customers receive the quality they deserve. We stand by our word, we stand by our products, services, and work that we do. Our team of experienced craftsmen and product experts have been perfecting their craft of fabricating and installing stone since 1998. Visit the Design Center at Red River Lumber to see the many beautiful stone options available for your next project.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire good people. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills for the right jobs. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Is your business the best that it can be? Let us take it to the next level with our wide range of professional services.
Media management, digital marketing,
Promotional items,
geofencing,
artwork, and videography.
Let us help you be seen. We are
TXK Marketing.
We are TXK Marketing.
If you're looking for authentic Cajun-style meats prepared and ready to cook and take home, look no further than Lanyard Specialty Meats. We here at Lanyard Specialty Meats select nothing but premium meats, and we season it to perfection so that you'll have all of Acadiana flavor here in your own home. Come by Lanyard Specialty Meats for all your tailgating needs for this football season or hunting season. Remember, Lanyard Specialty Meats.
Lanyards is an official sponsor and proud supporter of Texarkana Game Day.
Back from Pleasant Grove Stadium, we have head coach Josh Gibson with us. And man, it's got to be an emotional night for you.
Yeah, it's a really emotional night. We got some kiddos that been in our program for 6 years. You watch them grow up, you connect with them for that long, and it's an emotional one to know that this is their last game at Hawk Stadium.
So they're going to leave the all-time winningest group in Pleasant Grove history. Hey, I mean, what has this group just not accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right now, tonight, I guess it would be a back-to-back-to-back district championship, and that's on the table for them. But they've been so successful, on the field, and then even more importantly, just their attitude this year with growth and wanting to do everything right and being challenged to make an impact. And I asked them last week, I said, what do you feel like that y'all have done, better than some of the other groups that you were with? And they said, we always learn lessons, but felt like we were really cognizant and trying to take steps. And so I'm just proud of how their spirit's been this whole year. It's been huge. Super relational group, one of the most relational groups I've ever been around, tight knit. Their parents have really been the same way. You got dads of these lineman football players that come up and show up at every baseball game to support them then, and it's just a little bit of a different, parent and kid group, so it's a special group.
We were talking earlier about how just high character this group is, and I was like, there's like the defining moment for me, like I knew, but when I knew was after that Carthage game.
Yeah.
Like I knew that there's a really high character kids. They've been raised right, coached right. At that pep rally today, I've only known them for 2 months?
Yeah.
And I was a little sad. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
It's emotional.
It's going to get tough here in a minute. And then, we're trying to be proactive and do some things different so we can flip it from what'll feel like a funeral scene to a party scene and get them ready, because we've had some slow starts at senior night just because of how emotional it is. But really, really proud of them. This one's going to be special. It'll sink in here in a couple minutes when they start walking out. It won't take long. But we want to end on a good note, and we've been focused about doing that all week.
Cool. Well, how has this week been? I know Liberty Yellow, we came out, bruised a little bit, and unfortunately, Connor, is going to be out the rest of the year. Tell us how we are coming into this game.
Yeah, we've been a little banged up since, I guess the Tyler Chapel Hill game leading into that Carthage game. We just hadn't had everybody together at once, and we get a couple of back and somebody else gets banged up, and, that's part of football. And the unique thing in 17, we went 16-0. We didn't have a kid get injured, and that's you got to have a little luck in that draw. And for us to be out some big time kids in several games, the most special part to me is the kids that step up and have come in and continue to really compete, to prepare and be ready when they get the opportunity. And that's kind of where we are tonight. We're a little banged up. I think we're a little banged up at running back. We're a little banged up at safety. We've been banged up on the offensive line now. And then it's, we get the next guys ready, and they'll go in and compete their butts off and work together. But we definitely need that week next week to heal up a little bit for the playoffs.
And it looks like you scheduled that perfectly.
Man, it's the luck of the draw thing. 2 years ago, when we were drawing for it, me and my buddy Coach Wells, one of us was going to get the open week to go into district and get prepared, and one of us was going to get the last week. And nobody wanted the last week. Nobody in there wanted the last week. And he drew and he got the open week and we got the last week. And then now in retrospect, you're looking back and you're going, if you're going to be able to play 5 or 6 weeks in the playoffs, which the goal is to play 6, comes at a great time because it gives you a shot in the arm. Kids are exhausted right now. Coaches are exhausted, and everybody needs a break. These band kids, the showstoppers, everybody needs a weekend off, and they get it, and you get rejuvenated and get fired up for the playoffs, and then come back together with a sense of urgency and a togetherness, and let's go do something special.
What are we going to see from your team tonight? Anything different?
Yeah, I hope you see a team that's playing better football tonight than we have the whole year. We try to grow each week and get better and better, and I think that's happened in a lot of our games. Don't want to start slow. We've done that on senior night in the past, and a lot of that's just because of me. And I have a hard time looking at these kids and their parents coming through that tunnel, and then it bleeds into that locker room. So we're going to be proactive and do some stuff different in there tonight, but I'm hoping we see a better product than you've seen the past few weeks, and kids that look like they've been really mature and cognizant of growth, and they're gonna play better tonight than they have all year.
Well, I'm excited to see Logan and Hayden tonight. Hayden should have a fun night tonight.
Yeah, that's one thing about our program. We had 6 different kids score touchdowns last week. That happens a lot, and that's cool. There's that. We don't have to rely on just one guy. But when 6 different guys are scoring, there's usually 11 or 12 that are getting touches, and that kind of keeps all those kids going, and they invest a lot. They deserve to get paid on Friday and get rewarded for their efforts and investment. So it'll be an exciting night to see that.
I just feel like we watched Logan grow this season, from watching him first game and like, man, that kid's got some moves, to he looks like a one back.
Yeah.
You know, he's really, really good. I enjoy watching him.
I do too. He's great in the open field, and like y'all said, he's a character. He was the first one after the Carthage game to come over here, shake our hands, tell him thank you, and he just, took a loss. That had to be hard for him.
And I don't mean that as like a knock on Bruce. Like, Bruce is the guy, But I'm just saying, like, from week one, I don't know that I really knew him to now. I mean, he's came a long way.
Yeah, and that's you have to have a bunch of selfless kids. When you have a running back like Bruce, you have a running back like KJ Hicks, you have a running back like Nick Martin, you have a running back like Logan. There's so many of them that could be ones that would be ones on featured teams, and they're splitting up and getting 4 to 5 carries each, and Bruce usually gets 8 to 10, and kids like him won it 22 times, and they never say anything about it. And I think it makes us more dangerous because you have to, play 3 positions, and it definitely makes us more team-oriented with the spirit they have on that.
Coach, I want to let you know we've had a lot of fun following this football team so far this season. We appreciate you having us. But we're about to go to commercial. Before we go, we want to know, what are you going to tell these kids in the locker room on senior night?
Just the biggest thing is how much we love them and how much of impact that they've made on our school and community, how thankful we are for them. We don't want the relationships to end. We talked about that a lot this week with them in our meetings. Just I want to make sure we're at their weddings. I want to make sure we're there, getting graduation in 4 years, or hearing how they're doing in their career. And had a kid deploy on Tuesday from our 2017 team that didn't get that much playing time, but he's checking in, letting us know he's deploying to Iraq. And that's cool. And that's what we want, is that relationship to continue, and just let them know how much we love them, how proud we are of them.
Coach, man, we're proud of this football team, and I have a, what are we in week 10? From week 1 to week 10, man, the impact not only are making on the football field, but in these young kids' lives, it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is great. You have some great kids here.
I can truly say
they didn't just show up that way.
I just want to say it's been great just being around the program and getting to know the kids. Like, I walked in the gym today, and I'm just giving out fist bumps like I've been here 2 or 3 years with these kids.
Well, they got hype. We thought Craig was going to enter the dunk contest. True story. He was back there stretching, and we're like, what's going on here, baby? But, no, we appreciate you guys, too. It's been fun building a relationship with y'all and getting covered. So thank you.
Well, man, we're going to be there all the playoff games. We're looking forward to it. But we'll let you get back to it, Coach. Best of luck tonight. We'll take you to commercial.
All right. Thank y'all.
Good luck.
That was horrible.
We're
back at Pleasant Grove Stadium. This thing
where hand warmers are flying.
We have Kevin Carpenter with us. Evidently, you know all things Pleasant Grove, even more than Jay. I should have did more research for
I know enough to be dangerous. Yeah.
I like your article.
Well, thank you. They called me. They heard me on Chuck and Tony's radio show, and a guy called me and said, "Hey, would you do an article a couple times a week?" And I said, "About what?" And he goes, "Just whatever you want to talk about, the Hawks or whatever." And I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And I love doing it, but it's kind of turned into homework sometimes. Yeah. So
I know the feeling.
And I'm not a writer at all. And my wife and daughter have to proofread it and look at it and make sure it's all spelling. And But I had writer's block this week for the first time, so I know what real authors go through. I had no idea what to write about. And somebody came up with, Stephanie, my wife, came up with write about the Grove, how the Grove came about. And so I told the story about our very first defensive coordinator, Tommy Steele, who, if he was standing here 30 years ago, he looks just like Clint Fuller. Same size, little guy, fiery voice, got everybody fired up. And he got on the bus after we won our very first high school football game ever. It was a JV game against Ashdown. We only had 9th and 10th graders. And Coach Steele jumps on the bus and yells, "There ain't no place like the Grove." And we went wild, and it kind of stuck. And it's been the Grove ever since.
Wow.
Well,
why don't you have any cool stories like that?
Well, I was the manager of his team because he's a lot older than I am, and I do have some stories, but they will not be told on air from how the manager job was. But one of the things that I appreciate that Kevin's doing is he's sharing the lore that Pleasant Grove has, and we're a young district. I mean, we didn't have our first team until 84.
84 was the first year.
And so
in
we're still young, and to be able to bring up some of those older stories, for the today's fans in Pleasant Grove, we've got a lot of new families here that don't know the start of Pleasant Grove, and if they moved in 4 years ago, they just think it's all about winning. And I can assure you that isn't what our history is.
Well, we had a lady, and she was not being ugly about it, but she said, "Y'all get so much attention at Pleasant Grove. Why do y'all get all the attention?" And I went, "Hang on." I said, "There were days when I was there, when I was coaching here, that we would be on the second and third page of the Gazette, and we just didn't get the attention we do now." And
not
people,
realizing that it's all
earned. It's earned, yeah. But we didn't deserve attention 25 years ago. We were terrible. I'm sorry to say that, but nobody wanted to read about us. But now you look around and people are interested.
Being senior night, I'm going to watch some of these seniors walk out behind us. Man, tell us about this group. Tell us some of their best moments that you're going to remember forever, and what your opinions are.
I'll tell you what I do remember is when Coach Gibson got here. We were talking, a month or so after he got here, and he said he made a point to go talk to these. Then they were 7th graders. Went and talked to him. Of course, you can imagine what Ben Harmon and these guys look like as 7th graders. But he went and talked to them and told them, "Hey, if you work hard, we're going to build something here, and we're going to win a state championship." And of course, I'm sure those kids looked at him like, "Yeah, right." And I did the same thing. But that's what I think about these guys. They started in the 7th grade. They bought in, and look where it got them. I mean, it's incredible. But yeah, if you just look at the athletes that we've never had a class of athletes like this, or somebody like Ben Harmon. That and it's hard to explain Ben Harmon to people.
He's a leader.
That's what he is. If you look up leader in the dictionary, that's Ben Harmon. And no, he's not the best quarterback in East Texas, but I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
He's got one of the biggest hearts.
He's got the biggest heart, and he started in the 7th and 8th grade, coming over here and working out with the big kids, because he wanted to walk through this tunnel and have a chance to win a state championship.
Did any of y'all watch him in 7th or 8th grade?
Yeah.
He played linebacker, and he would decleat them, and he would jump up. I mean, he was fun to watch.
There's some kids on this team that I'm looking at, Ben Harmon being one of them. I really like Jackson Cobb. I like all of them.
Yeah.
You can tell, I don't know what they're going to do in life, but if I have the chance, if they ever walk in, I'm hiring them.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's going to be for. They're getting hired. You know what I mean? They're those kind of kids.
They're winners. Jay, maybe y'all can hire him over at the bank. And
we could do that.
Here's the thing about Harmon. He wants to be a coach.
And I can see him doing that.
He could coach this group next year because they respect him and look up to him. So, yeah, I can see that.
I know a lot of games when we're here, I'll just walk up to him and I say, "Do what you've always done," and that's lead.
Yeah.
And he'll just say, "I got you." He goes out and gets it done.
What is y'all's opinion on leadership? We talk about Ben all the time, how great of a leader he is because it's so obvious. Born with it? Do you think people are born with it, or do you think it's just it's something you develop over time?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think a lot of that has to do with your upbringing, what you instill in your kids. And obviously he's got great parents that have instilled leadership ability. Not everybody's got that. He already had it in him, but it's also a learned
Coach
behavior.
Stanford said the same thing on that. I remember asking him that. He's like, I think it's partly 30% born with it. It takes a lot of someone believing in you.
Yeah.
And it takes it takes a little bit of losing to become a leader.
You wonder if of course, I think Coach Gibson had a lot to do with that.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And not that I'm not downgrading our former athletic director and their coaching staff, because I loved them, but it's just different. And Ben came over here and got with Coach Gibson and we can't forget Justin Gibson either, because he's worked with Ben also.
Oh, yeah. You know what
that's when he took off.
You know what separates Coach Gibson to me is when you talk to him out here, it's almost like he's about to tear up. He's so emotional about these kids that you can tell he genuinely cares about them.
Yeah.
And when you genuinely care about kids and they can tell, man, they'll play hard.
They'll go through a wall
They'll
for
play
you.
hard for you.
He loves them, and Coach Gibson and I have spent time in his office just talking. And yeah, if you're alone with him and he starts talking about Harmon, he's gonna cry.
Yeah.
He's gonna tear up, and not just Ben. It's he loves this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves these kids, and they're gonna play hard for him. So.
Tell you, we sent one of our videographers over this week, hey, we're going to put a little video together. We'd like for you to speak 2 minutes about this senior class. And,
20 minutes?
I don't know, it was a long time, evidently. I wasn't there for it, but I watched a little bit of it. And what I kind of left with watching the first half of it, he never mentioned one person individually.
Yeah.
He was like, this group of kids, they were just, the first one to come through. They got to be a special group for them.
Yeah.
Well, I think going back to that leadership as far as for Ben and Bruce, they've all put in the time. I mean, during the summer, they're in the weight room. I mean, they're the first ones in, first ones to leave. And Ben started that as a 7th and 8th grader.
And they follow him.
To be able to have the oomph to want to go with it as a 7th and 8th grader to go throw with the JV and varsity. I mean, that's huge.
There's a great book that I read years ago called Beyond Band of Brothers. Remember the HBO series Band of Brothers? The guy, Lieutenant Winters, wrote another book about how he led a company, 101st Airborne in World War II, and he was their leader, and he did everything. He would be the first guy out of the plane, the first guy to charge a foxhole. He didn't order his guys to do it, and they followed him. I think you talked about working out in the summer. If you ever, next summer, just pick a day, come up, and you've seen it, and pick a Tuesday morning and just come up here during the summer. It's unbelievable. They'll have 150 kids, and they're not just lifting weights. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're yelling at each other. They're bouncing back and forth to different sets. That's why we're winners right there.
Well, let's leave it on that. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
We'll let you get up to your warm
Anytime.
There.
Anytime.
We'll take you up on a playoff run. I'm going to lean on you.
So you get me seats at AT&T?
I can't get seats at AT&T, but I have a feeling there's going to be enough of them for you to get your own.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, brother. Enjoy the night.
Yeah. Nice to meet you guys. Man, I love what y'all do. I have a guy it's a friend of mine in Seattle, Washington. He's never been to Texas in his life. He comments on you guys all the time. He goes, man, we don't have that kind of stuff up here. He goes, we don't have these big, nice stadiums. They play good football.
Texas football is something
nothing.
different.
His son plays at Montana. He's a lineman. And he just marvels at all this. So yeah, there's people watching. So. Thanks, fellas.
Yes, sir.
All right. He's got those notes. Gotta have those notes.
Try to not leave anybody out.
Right.
For maybe like 20 seconds to show us what
Member of the National Honor Society. He enjoys hanging out with friends and family.
We are back with Superintendent Pirtle. Man, what a special night for this school and this particular senior class.
It is. This senior class is a pretty amazing class. They started with Coach Gibson in 7th grade, and probably already talked about that, but. You see how much Coach Gibson loves these kids out here, and it's a tough night for Coach Gibson, I can guarantee you. And but I want to thank y'all for Texarkana Game Day for being here, and thanks for recognizing Nick Martin as the Defensive Player of the Week last week.
You know, I told Nick, and I was like, man, this probably isn't fair to you, but everybody knows you're my favorite player. So you got to do something really, really great for the MVP award. And he was like, man, I've been wondering, you know.
He's a headhunter out there, isn't he? He's a headhunter out there.
Yeah.
We've had a great week. We had Red Ribbon Week this week in school, and it's a drug and alcohol awareness program, and it's just an opportunity for kids to dress up, have some fun, and around the concept of making healthy choices. And we have a pretty neat night out here with Michael Waka. We're retiring his jersey
we're
tonight.
Have him on here in just a minute.
Yeah, he's just next door there. So.
I saw you over at Harvest Texarkana, which is one of my favorite things in town. What were you doing over there?
I'll tell you what, that's a really special place. It takes care of a lot of people in this area. Harvest Texarkana is an organization that is a food bank basically in Texarkana, and I had my weekly cabinet meeting over there on Monday, which was National Make a Difference Day. And so as my cabinet, we went over there to make a difference, and so we put I don't know how many hundred bags together for kids. They I think they serve 8 or 9, 10 counties around here, and serving or providing food for our kids, and we felt like that was a worthy way to make a difference that Pleasant Grove ISD Central Services could contribute to. So we're really proud of that.
Well, it's been a big sports week, from what I hear.
You know, the volleyball team had a big win on Tuesday. I've seen many of their games, and that was the best game that I'd seen them play all year long. I mean, they were sharp. Paris never could get in a rhythm. I think it gave Paris their first loss in district, and that really is a great game to thrust them into the playoffs.
Was how good Paris was.
And they are. Yeah. They are good. They were undefeated up until that point, and they're going to make a long playoff run. But I'm going to tell you what, Coach Colvin's had our girls ready, and they played, made plays.
Super
plays. It was a lot of fun to watch. Cross country, they went and competed at regionals and competed well at regionals. Unfortunately, we're not going to state, but they made it out of district level and made it to regionals, and we're going to grow that program and make that program state worthy.
I tell you one thing, I think my son may be coming over next week or something. He keeps talking to me about the show y'all have coming out.
Yes, sir. Aladdin Jr., our drama department is putting it on here at the high school, and it's free. It's free to everyone, and I think she has 6 or 7 shows that they do over the next couple of days, and it's free to anyone that wants to come. I think you do have. There's a process to get tickets to it, but again, there's no payment. And I think they pack that the Performing Arts Center out almost every night.
Tell me the show kind of starts in the parking lot.
It does.
It's just like going to Disney World.
You know, I walked through the Performing Arts Center yesterday, and it does not look like the Performing Arts Center. It is. I hope you're able to go. You will just see a different place. A different place when you walk in there.
I came to one about 2 years ago, and it's one of the most impressive shows I've ever seen.
So the word is this one is bigger.
Really?
It's bigger. So we're really excited about that. Senior night tonight, and the opportunity to recognize all the seniors. Great senior class. They're doing great things for Pleasant Grove.
Band, showstoppers, cheerleaders.
Yeah.
That's a big group.
I tell you what, the showstoppers, they are very impressive. And Tori DePriest provides a lot of leadership for them. And then Chloe Carpenter, their captain, is an amazing leader. I think right now she may be the salutatorian in her class and just rocking and rolling in her life. And she has a great family. Her family actually, they provide the food in the press box on Friday nights, and they're at everything. And her dad actually writes an article that you see on Facebook every Friday about Pleasant Grove and gives a little history to it. It's a lot of fun to read.
Well, you're retiring Michael Waka's jersey tonight. He's about to come on the show here in about a minute, and we're kind of excited to have him on, first professional athlete we've had on. But This is the first time y'all have ever retired anyone's number?
That's what I understand. But I'm going to tell you what, we're really excited to be able to do this for him. He has done some special things in professional baseball. And what's really exciting also is we have his brother. Who got drafted in the XFL, but we have his brother here with us, and we want to keep him around here a long time because he's an amazing educator and mentor and leader for our kids. So that the Walker family, they're pretty special.
I'm going to have to speak up for him so he can get a statue like mine built here. So I'm having a statue built at Texas High. That's my story.
I think he had more than a 7-yard punt return.
Well, Mr. Pirtle, we appreciate you coming on. Post game. Come see us right off the bat.
I'll do it.
It's going to be an emotional night. People started getting here early for it. After watching Pep Rally, I'm kind of sad to see him go.
Yeah,
I've only known him a few months.
I know,
but,
special group, and we're just. I just want to tell you guys thank you for for being here for Pleasant Grove.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you post game, brother.
All right.
And we love coming out.
All right.
All right, brother.
What's up?
How you doing?
Michael Walker.
I've never asked anybody to sign a baseball. Do you do it? You do it with a Sharpie or a pen?
Pen on baseball. Yeah.
Can I get just one with you and then to TXK game day?
TXK game day. I can do that.
We're on the desk and we have Michael Walker here, and of course, I got to make him sign autographs before we get started. I'm sure he's used to it though. Do you hate it just yet?
No, not at all.
Don't ever get tired of it?
I still think it's crazy people want this thing. I'll tell you that.
Well, Craig beside you, he's getting a statue made after him over at Texas High.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Let's go.
Yeah. 7-yard punt return got into the Texas High Hall of Fame.
Let's go. Love that.
So, man, before we get on Pleasant Grove, what's up with this World Series? That was a great one, wasn't it?
Hey. I mean, we got everything we wanted. Got it 7 games. Had some pretty dang good pitching matchups, some drama there late inning games, and got to see Scherzer in Game 7 once we thought he was out. But I was pretty excited about it. I wanted to just go in and see a good series. I didn't really care who won, but no, I mean we got everything we wanted for it, that's for sure.
Tony flew up and
went to Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, did you go there for
it? In fact, I flew up and watched you this year.
Oh, did you? St. Louis?
No, San Diego.
Oh, okay. I don't blame you for going there.
Yeah,
so
that's a beautiful place, though, man.
Oh, that's one of my favorite places to go play.
And to be honest with you, I didn't even know you was pitching, man. I saw you on the mound. As I told all the boys, I said, he's on the mound tonight. Everybody got excited, so it was a great experience. So.
Hey, that's a small world right there, man.
Is
that's
it too
awesome.
early to know where we're going to see you next season?
I would say so.
Can we get you to make the LeBron James? Where you're taking your talents to?
Hey, I'm 2 days in free agency now that the World Series is over, so I'd say it's a little too early to know. So
I'm thinking like Globe Life. Globe Life would be a good one for me.
Right,
somewhere around Arlington area.
New ballpark down there.
I agree with that.
Yeah, close to home.
You don't want to play close to home. People will harass you about tickets. Get your number after.
Right. Yeah. I only get 1 free ticket, guys. No, my family's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, man, you're getting your jersey retired tonight. That's got to be just a great phone call to get. You know?
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's an extreme honor, I can tell you that. And, whenever my brother told me that, they were thinking about doing this and was seeing if I was going to be home at this time and saying that they wanted to retire that number, I was just immediately thought back to this place, Pleasant Grove, Texarkana, everything about this place. And, I mean, just nothing but good memories with going to the state finals there down in Austin a couple years. And just immediately thought back to my teammates and everyone back here. And, I wouldn't be here without them. And, it really just pushed me throughout my career to be who I am today, and it all started here in Pleasant Grove. So, I mean, I was really excited about it.
Man, we got a guy who's just been everywhere, and we talk about that all the time. Like, these kids are going to miss this.
Oh, yeah.
And I doubt we're going to see any jersey retirements, like yours. But from my understanding, it's the first time it's ever been done here at Pleasant Grove. And I was having a talk with Tony Kirko this week. He was like, well, they couldn't pick a better guy,
Well, I appreciate him saying that, but yeah, whenever they told me it's the first one, I was pretty surprised as well. There's been some pretty good athletes coming through here, but I've had a real good time watching these guys back here play the last few years. Coach Gibson coming in here doing a heck of a job with these boys, and been able to watch them down in Dallas past couple of years, and that's been a lot of fun watching them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're retiring one of their numbers here pretty soon.
Well, can you take a second and just talk to just coming back to seeing just people, the smiling faces and stuff like that? How does that make you feel returning home?
Oh, it's awesome. Seeing a bunch of my old friends that are still here, some old family friends as well. I mean, it always makes my day seeing these guys. I mean, I went and picked up my nephew at the elementary school, and teachers are coming out, and teachers are coming down from the stands just saying, hey, and stuff. And it's really awesome to see.
Yeah.
Well, I told my 17-year-old you was going to be here tonight. He said he's got to meet you, man. So
hey, bring him on over. Introduce me. That'd be awesome.
So what is the odd question? What is the one place when you came back you had to go eat when you came to Texarkana?
That I had to go back to? I always like restaurant. Are you talking restaurant? Okay, because I was about to say I got to make my stop at Bringle Park every time I come out here. Love that area out there, but man, I don't know if I got that one spot. I like going to this, to Tamales, probably. I got to hit up Tamales lunchtime.
So mine is Pizza King in Longview.
Pizza King?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know.
You don't know nothing about Pizza King?
I don't know about.
Oh, you're missing out.
Hey, jeez, man. Hidden gems, I guess.
Yeah. That's the reason I look the way I do.
Maybe that's a question I just shouldn't ask him. I was like, man, I eat nothing but salads and protein shakes. What are you talking about?
I've been in ketosis for 10 years. No, I'm just kidding.
So I don't know what that is.
I actually had a best friend that played baseball from here, Craig Monroe. You might have heard of him or whatever.
Yep.
But tell people about the day in and day out grind, and how hard it is to actually make it and stay relevant in the major leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah, so crazy story about Craig. He used to work at the hospital with my mom up there, so he got a little connection there, and I've talked to him a little bit. But, I mean, it's a tough sport to make it in. I mean, you see guys, that minor league system's no joke, and some guys will get buried down there, and it can become a business. But this 162-game season is all that you could ask for as a player. I mean, by the end of the season, you're very worn out, and it comes down to the mental side of it. But it's something that I learned here actually at Pleasant Grove was mental toughness from Coach Jones, and it's something that you've got to have in order to play this game. And it's a fun game, and I'm glad I've been able to play it for so long and hopefully keep going.
Yeah, the reason I ask you that is because one of the main things when he finally decided to quit playing was he said, "Man, I'm just finally tired of living out of a suitcase."
Oh, that's right.
You're always on the road.
Yep,
pretty much.
That's exactly right. I'm in Dallas for 3 months in the off season. I'm in spring training for 2.5 months, 3 months, and then I'm in the season for 6 months. So
how long
it's
do you
all
take
suitcase.
off between seasons?
After the season?
Yeah.
Okay, so I take off, depending on how many innings I threw, close to about 2 weeks or so, and then 2 weeks of just hanging out, and then I'll get it started back up.
You work all year around, just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
Did you ever play winter ball and stuff like that?
So I did not. I never played winter ball. I was always healthy for the most part at the end of the season and was throwing and was able to give my arm a rest in the off season. But I remember Craig Monroe
all the
going down
time.
there,
That winter
going down
ball. Get out of baseball, go
Right.
straight to playing winter ball, and then come home for a couple of weeks, and then it's off to spring training.
It's go time. And you can see those guys in spring training who have been playing winter ball too.
Yeah.
Those guys are locked in from the beginning. And it can become an advantage for sure if you go down there and keep playing. It makes money down there. No, I've got a lot of teammates that go down there every single year.
Let's do this. They're about to retire your jersey here in just a minute. Let's go take a picture of us, put up, everybody smile. Hey, can I use sign a ball for my son, Walker? He's an inspiring T-ball superstar.
Okay,
These guys got to feel special sitting up here next to you and I, Michael. They got to feel special right now, yeah.
Well, Michael, I can't tell you how much Pleasant Grove's proud of you and what you're doing and how you're representing Pleasant Grove. I can still remember the very first game you played in. You went up there and got a base hit. I thought that was just the best thing since sliced bread for a pitcher to go up there and just knock one out in the outfield. So it's been fun watching your career and wish you much success, and can't wait to see you in Globe Life.
Thank you. Those are some kind words right there. And I'm glad that you brought up that base hit. I used to bet 1,000 in the show, so it was very cool. But no, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, this place means everything to me, so I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
Hey, it's good to be back. Let's get a win tonight.
Yeah.
So.
I have a feeling we're going to.
Hey.
Well, you're our first professional athlete we've had on our show, and we have had 100 million views.
It's a big one.
We got
How
Craig
long
on
y'all
payroll.
had this show for?
Well, we started it in August. Craig's on payroll for like $15 million a year. Can't afford anybody else. You know,
you got to pay the talent.
Big dog,
Yeah, he's got to pay the talent, man.
Big dog, yeah.
Anyway, maybe we'll let you back to it.
All right.
Appreciate you coming
Thanks
on.
a lot, guys.
Hey, enjoy your night.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, let's get a picture real quick. I'm sorry. I thought he'd already taken one. Sorry. Oh, yeah. All right,
We need a 110 camera.
Appreciate it, brother.
Pride and Motion Hawk Band, a 2-year state solo and ensemble qualifier, a 4-year member of Color Guard, serving as captain, a 3-year member of KIEX, a 2-year member of HOSA, and a 3-year member of
Where'd Jay go? I guess go.
We're going to do some more here.
Yeah, I guess Jay bounced.
Let me get my buddy over here.
Just kind of.
Tony, you want to jump on the end?
Be sure we have a camera because they're going
You
to
jump on that end down there? Tony's going to jump on that end. I got to get down on this end by my buddy.
We'll just kind of talk about what we're seeing, you know.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up, guys? You giving 5 out?
Quan Tran, son of Van Loo and Quan Tran. Quan is a 3-year member of the Flyers.
Promise you it'll be in midfield. It'll be in midfield.
Can I get a 5?
Enjoys fishing, watching Netflix. Long
We
walks
back?
on the beach and eating sushi.
So we are back. Man, Tony, how does that finally got our first professional athlete on? Didn't have to bribe him or pay him?
I thought that was great, and I'll be honest with you, I'm glad of who it was. I think that's a big one for the first one. I've enjoyed watching him through his high school career. I was lucky enough to fly up to San Diego this year and watch him pitch a game, and that was, my kids and my family were loving it, so it was fun.
I mean, it's got to feel really good to come back to where you went to high school, get your jersey retired, see all these smiling faces and stuff like that.
Activate this for me.
Morgan's passing out hand warmers.
I can't get this hand warmer to work. Oh man, she's dirty. But man, this so they've had all the seniors coming out from Showstoppers band, the football team. I think Jackson Cobb might have been the first one I saw come out. Man, it's a special night for these guys. Man, I can remember back to my senior night. Seems like it was forever ago, but. It really hadn't been that long.
It seems like it was yesterday to me. I don't realize it's been long until I look in the mirror.
Yeah. I tell y'all, it got cold on us quick.
Yes, it did.
I remember earlier saying, it's not really that cold out here. It is cold.
It's cold.
No.
The hat, the gloves went on fast.
I know. I wish I'd listened to Jennifer. Oh, was that supposed to come out of the bag? Is that why it didn't work?
Yes.
I didn't know. I never used these before.
I'll just go ahead and
you're
let
supposed to shake
Spring Hill
them?
know that he did not go to school down there.
Let me tell you, I got so much street cred. I was like, man, I need a Spring Hill helmet. I'll pay for it. He was like, no, man, anything for you, and just gave me a helmet. That's what kind of street cred I got.
He didn't keep your locker, though.
Huh?
He didn't keep your locker down.
No, he didn't know. They turned it into a training room. But he said he's going to look through. He said he thinks they still have my
Probably
stuff.
got it stocked
He said
up.
they don't throw stuff away like mine.
Well, I will say we saw a famous Spring Hill person ourselves this week.
Who?
Lance Hedrick.
I love Lance.
Lance Hedrick.
What's he doing? You got to bring him to a playoff game.
Oh, he's at Longview tonight. Coach Hedrick wanted to go see Gladewater play Sabine, and Lance wanted to go see the Lobos play. So guess where they're going?
Oh yeah, well.
Gotta go see the Lobos play.
Lance always had good taste in football. I love Lance, man. I hadn't seen him in forever. I see y'all always do something for his birthday.
Always, every year.
We do. He'll be turning 41 in January.
He's 41?
He'll be
Oh my
41.
God. I tell you, I thought I looked to my left earlier and could have sworn Trent Allen was standing right there. He was wearing all red, almost like University of Houston colors, and I literally had to look over there 3 or 4 times because I'm telling y'all, it looked just like him. Crazy. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Nobody
We've got
knows,
completely
sorry.
off theme. But anyway,
We just went down the Spring Hill tunnel right there.
Yeah, we all graduated from Spring Hill. Craig graduated from Texas Side, and Tony didn't graduate from anywhere. But, no, I'm just kidding. Tony graduated from the College of Money Making.
The number 2 roofer in the Arklatex.
Yeah, well, Tony's actually out of the top 5 in roofing.
Wow.
You know, they actually have a category out right now.
I'm going to have to.
Tony's not listed in roofing; he's listed in home improvement.
I guess I'm going to have to go on referrals. I think I'm going to have to go 25-1 instead of 10-1.
Tony, is that going to hurt your business at all? Not being a top 5 roofer?
I don't know. It comes from a really credible source.
I told Tony over this year, I said, yeah, man, you know what a great comeback would be? Like, what? Like, man, just say, man, I was doing great till I came on game day.
Career went in the tank after that.
Everything went bad for me after that. Nobody wants to work with me. Oh, man. I tell you the funniest thing I think I've seen all year. Tony walks up to this guy in Hooks. And he's like, man, I roofed your house. And the guy's like, you did? And he's like, yeah. He's like, man, it's got a leak in it.
So now he's making up stories.
Hey, I might have made that up. I might have made that one up.
I was trying to remember this situation. I was like, no.
Tony said they never had a leak on his roofs. But, man, the Hawks are coming into the stadium, about to run out of the tunnel. We're going to have a jersey retirement for you here shortly. About 10 minutes till kickoff. Very emotional night for not only the players, parents, and coaches, you know, but kind of us a little bit. You know, I feel like we've kind of grown to know all these players in the Texarkana area. We'll have 2 more senior nights next week at Liberty Ilo and Texas High.
It's a really nice atmosphere. It's super cold, but it's a really nice atmosphere.
Well, I kind of feel bad about complaining about how hot it was earlier this year.
I know.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be hot than cold. I take it back, you know.
See, I'll take this cold over the heat.
Yeah, you're wearing shorts. Wearing basketball shorts.
I have not turned my heater on at the house yet.
That was on like a month ago. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Tony, what do we expect to see tonight out of these 2 teams?
I think Spring Hill is kind of where Pleasant Grove was 6 or 7 years ago. I think they got some good young players, but as their coach was saying, winning is a mentality.
Yeah.
And you've got to learn how to win. I don't think they necessarily know how to win yet. I think they're going out and competing, and I don't think they're there yet. And I think Pleasant Grove is going to dominate the lines, and I don't think it's going to be a close game.
Well, as a Spring Hill alum, I'll say this. Do I think they're going to win tonight? No. Do I hope they put up a great show? And I kind of expect them to put up a good show. I think they will do that. It's really kind of exciting for me. I hadn't followed Spring Hill football in forever because they've been bad. Let's just call it what it is. They've been bad. Yeah, but we, like a group of us that went to school together, and we heard the name of who they hired. We knew they were going to be good. It was just a matter of how long.
Absolutely.
And they're in one of the toughest districts in the state of Texas in 4A Division II.
You put Spring Hill in a different district and a different whatever, and they'll probably have a winning record.
Yeah.
It's a rough district, man. One of the roughest in the state of Texas.
Well, I mean, they're in. Nobody's going to blow Spring Hill out like we've kind of seen. I mean, you know, that Gilmer game, what did they lose by? Less than a touchdown, I think?
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah, I mean,
down to the end. I mean, a couple of possessions.
Yeah, and I'm telling y'all, we can talk about players all day long. It comes down to the coach they have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because they've had all this before. Johnny Levere got there, and things have just changed. You know what I mean?
They need one of them games like when Pleasant Grove beat Gilmer 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they'll turn the corner.
Yeah. And what does he have, 10 seniors, he said?
Yes, 10.
You know? So
they're very young.
They'll be good next year. They'll be really good.
The junior high classes coming up, they are very solid teams.
Yeah.
Spring Hill has a very bright future.
Yeah.
Give him 3 years, and this is a different atmosphere we're talking about right now, a different game.
First time making the playoffs in 12 years.
12 years, yes.
You know, and I don't think you just wake up lucky one season. I mean, I'm glad he's there.
And talk about a community that's just going to love this.
Yeah.
Being able to be competitive in games, go to the playoffs that they haven't experienced since 2007, that is such a huge thing for that community.
I played on this team. All you hear is Longview, Longview, Longview.
They want to make a statement.
And, you know, it gets old, you know, and
if it gets old, do something about it. Go beat them at home.
We didn't ever miss the playoffs. We always went deep, but
we did.
I do think Pleasant Grove's going to be too much tonight. I'm looking for Ben Harmon to do what Ben Harmon does. From my understanding, Bruce Garrett's probably not going to play tonight. They're just going to rest him. I hate that for him on senior night, but there's just too much to lose. Getting ready to go into the playoffs. Looking to see big doses of Nick Martin, Logan Johnson, which you know I love watching play. They'll be without Connor Stanfield tonight. Had a detached ACL, so he'll be out the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I hate to hear that.
I think Connor's a big loss, and I'll tell you, Connor is a great kid that works really hard in school, on the field, and I hate to see him not go to make the playoffs. I hate to see them not to have him.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing tonight for Pleasant Grove is to be able to control that clock.
All the way on the field.
You know, keep their offense on the field to keep Spring Hill from being on the field, because they're going to try to throw the ball deep and score. So if they can keep them off the field and control the clock.
I think tonight what I'm looking for out of Pleasant Grove, this is probably going to be one of the best passing teams they're probably going to play. And I want to see kind of what Carthage was able to throw the ball on Pleasant Grove a little bit. Let's call it what it is. I'm excited to see what changes are made, because they're basically playing the same style offense tonight. As far as the throwing, they're going to throw the ball.
And
how are we going to
seems
adjust?
to work against Pleasant Grove to an extent. The short pass, the deep pass is not as much, in my opinion.
Well, you may see a couple of those, at least attempts for those deep balls, because that's what number one brings to the ball game. When he is in, Rockwell is just that dangerous.
He really
definitely
is.
going to have to stay deeper than their deepest man.
Yeah.
Stay on top side or whatever.
But we do know the quarterback's going to have to get the ball out quick. So I mean, this kind of team they're playing, if they can get them down pretty quick, which I think even if let's say Spring Hill got it, they're still going to throw the ball. Landon Jackson could have a 4-sack game tonight, which we've seen out of him before.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to. I can't believe the season's gone by so fast.
It has.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it seems like yesterday we were out here.
Feels like the 5th or 6th week.
And I just want to say, Pleasant Grove has been so accommodating for Katie and I to come out here. Y'all have been so wonderful to us to let us come and just sit here at this table.
Well,
And we get to talk football.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, well, that's because they know y'all are with me. Just kidding. Anyway, they're going to retire Michael Walker's jersey, so let's go to that.
Joining Michael on the field are his parents, Tom and Karen, brothers Charlie and Lucas, and sister Brett, as well as Sarah Hoffman and Sam Staccato. Tonight, Pleasant Grove High School and Hawks Baseball are honored to have the privilege of retiring Michael's high school jersey, number 38. Michael is a 2009 graduate of PGHS, where he was a 2-time All-State baseball player. During his junior and senior season, he helped lead the Hawks to back-to-back trips to the state tournament in Austin. Upon graduation, Michael attended Texas A&M University, where he continued his academic and baseball career as a member of the Aggie baseball team. While at Texas A&M, Michael earned all Big 12 honors as a pitcher, was selected to the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team, and led the Aggies to the 2011 College World Series. After the completion of his junior season, Michael was selected by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 2012 Major League Baseball Draft as the 19th overall selection in the first round.
About the logos?
On May 30th, 2018, he made his MLB debut for the Cardinals. During the 2013 playoffs, Michael helped the Cardinals capture the National League pennant, and he was named the MVP of the National League Championship Series while advancing to the World Series. In his 7 seasons with the Cardinals, Michael has earned 59 career wins while also being named a National League All-Star. Tonight, the entire Pleasant Grove Hawks community is proud to honor Michael's achievements both on and off the field, as your 38 is now officially retired. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Pleasant Grove's own Michael Walker.
He's an Aggie. Yeah, I'm just kidding. No, this is special.
What was that? I was going through your pitch, Jay.
Back at the desk.
We're back.
I tell you, man, that's a really nice guy.
No, he really is.
Yeah, I'm a special night to see his number get retired on senior night. Hey, Tony, you follow baseball religiously, but let's go to the national anthem before we do that.
Let's take a moment to honor America first.
we hope you enjoyed our pregame show, senior night here from Pleasant Grove. Kickoff is a couple minutes away, or actually a minute away. We will be back at halftime. Good luck to all the local high school teams tonight. And Craig Jenkins, tell them what time it is.
It's time, and we are signing off.
We are out.